Hey! So we are in the midst of plasterboarding now. It's exciting times, the house is starting to look like a house again. But we learnt very early on that it's exhausting doing plasterboarding. It's quite awkward because they're heavy and yet they're fragile. And there's just a few things that you can do to help yourselves. So I'm going to show you a couple of handy tools that you can use and just how to make it a bit more efficient and easy for you. I can actually use these tools to do it on my own, but if there is two of you, like when my husband is here, it makes it even easier and even faster to get done. So check us out as we continue plasterboarding this ceiling. So first things first, what do you need? Well, you're going to need a pencil or a pen. You're going to need your Stanley knife. You're going to need some drywall screws. You can get these pretty cheap from lots of different places. You're going to need your drill. And then there's these two handy tools here. Now, my husband made this one. Basically, it's made at a height where it's just holding it just under where you want it to be. And it's got a little lip here, which the plasterboard rests on. So if you put this in line with where the last plasterboard ended, so for example, last plasterboard ended here, you're going to then put this plasterboard sheet here on this lip right up so that when you push it up, it's going to be level with this one, but it's just something that you can rest on. So it's a piece of wood at the height that you need with just this little gadget made screwed in. So that's the first one, and then the second one we have is this, which you can get from pretty much any DIY place, which again, it's just a little way to hold your plasterboard sheet up. Because sometimes you wish you have 8 hands, but you've only got 2. And this little pump just pumps it up so you can keep going as tall as you want. And then you've got a little lever that loosens it so it can go lower down. The last great tool to use is a screw gun. It uses collated screws that you can use to plasterboard. So using a little dial on the screw gun, you can gauge the exact amount that it needs to go in, and it will automatically do it from that point on. You have that initial few minutes where you set it up, but once it's set up, it's a really efficient and effective tool. So you won't always be able to use a full sheet, and you're going to need to cut plasterboard. So here's my tips for cutting plasterboard. You're going to need your tape measure, you're going to need a pencil and a Stanley knife and a straight edge. Whether that's a batten or a level, doesn't really matter. So I'm going to mark it out, but basically I need a 56cm width plasterboard by 2.4. So watch me draw it out first. Then using a batten, I'm just going to draw a straight line. Now some people don't bother with the line, but I just like a line so I can see that I'm not going off target. Then I'm using the Stanley knife to go over it. Press reasonably hard all the way along. Some other tools you might want to use is a jab saw. I prefer the Stanley knife because I think it's neater, but a jab saw can be good for like cutting circles out or any like awkward angles. Okay, so now you lift. You're going to keep your Stanley knife handy. You're going to lift the sheets up, and so long as you put enough pressure on, it should snap like so. And then you just use the Stanley knife on the other side. And we have it. Now at your handy DIY store you can get a little shaver that you can rub across it, but I just generally use my Stanley knife and use the flat edge just to make it as much of a smooth finish. Sometimes it doesn't quite snap off neatly. And we have it cut. Now for fixing our plasterboard sheet. In this video, you'll see us doing it on stud work. If you're doing it on brick walls, you need to do a dot and dab. So don't forget to subscribe, and in a few weeks we will have the dot and dab video up. So first prop my husband has set up is the one that he made. So as you can see, it's just in alignment, well, slightly out of alignment with the previous plasterboard sheet. So as you can see, we use this just to get it very close to the edge, and it's just enough to, it's like slightly below it, but it's going to go up pretty easily. And then we used this one as a way to hold it up as well, and it's got a little handle which gives you the mechanism to be able to like push it up a bit more or release it. So for example, where we had this cable, we needed it to be a bit lower so we could pull that through before we screwed it in. So there's that. We were only putting the boundary screws in, so like where you can see at the minute, and then we'll use our gun to put the rest in at a later date. Using a level, you can go all the way along, drawing your lines, and then use the screw gun just to smack them in. Although you pay more on the screws, you pay less in time and efficiency. And yeah, it's another great tool to use. And there you have it. So that's our DIY tips on plasterboarding. Don't forget to subscribe below, and soon we will be doing the dot and dab on plasterboarding. Alright, catch you guys later.